here. Wonderful. Switch that off. How are you? You're good. Busy. Yeah. I think we're all kind of like busy. So that's why we need yin in our life to just. And it's interesting. I always find it, even with meditation. So that whole idea of having stillness or moments of stillness. That expression where they say if you're very busy and you feel you don't have time, meditate for like 25 minutes, and when you're fine and zen, 5 minutes is enough. It's so the opposite. It's often when you're very, very busy that you're like, okay, I'll just skip the yin. I don't have time to meditate, and it's in those times that you need it most, huh? But good to have you here. So we've got all sorts of props which we will work with. But in order for all of us to kind of go, okay, we are here, it's yin time. Let's start in a seated position. Cross-legged or kneeling. Make sure your space online is nice and calm, that you can't get distracted. You can put your music, that meditation music list on. Just put it on shuffle. And you've got a nice selection of music at home. And here in the center, we can also just start to settle into our seats. Now, with our legs crossed, let's just cross the other foot in front. So we most of the time have an automatic habit to cross the same leg in front. And it almost feels awkward. It's the same when you hold someone's hand and it's the wrong way around. And so just try to feel into the body. Settle into your sit bones, a little wiggle. And then take a deep breath in. And close your eyes and sit still. Take slow and deep breaths, preferably in through the nose and out of the mouth. Let the inhale give you space and expansion, length through the crown, space between the ribs, and let the exhale bring a sense of softness, even though you are maintaining that broad and upright position with the body. So it's an inhale for space, length. And the exhale is soft. So as if your skin softens, the muscles soften, but you stay upright. Here in the center, it's blowing. We can hear the wind, which is interesting always to observe how nature can be wild and calm, just as life is. There's moments in life where things are calm and moments in life where things are more hectic. And the yin practice allows us to slow down, to digest life. And through that digestion, more clarity can come afterwards. Maybe not straight away, but it will give us an opportunity to already have more of an empty mind to go into our evening and into our rest while we sleep. And all of that together will result in a clearer mind, less foggy, more clear, for new ideas, new energy. Stay with your breath. Let's place the hands in front of the heart. A moment to set an intention or maybe dedicate your practice to someone else that is dear to you or someone else that is in need. of some extra love, some extra attention, some extra strength. And then we bow our heads towards our fingertips to seal that in. And you can come and start on your hands and knees. And then step your right foot forward. And your left knee is on the floor. So here you could use 1 or 2 blocks. Actually, let's first talk about the left knee. So if your left knee is quite sensitive, you can either use a little towel or you can even fold your mat. So you've got some padding for your left knee. And then the right foot is forward. If you have 2 blocks, that would be ideal. I'm actually going to grab 2 blocks, then I can show you and make it more comfortable for myself as well. And then you can bring a block to each side of your foot. Place your hands on top of the block. That's it. And by doing so, you can also change the energy in your shoulders. So rather than rounding, loop the shoulders up, back, and down, and do a soft pressure through the hands to keep your spine upright. Feel free to close your eyes. Your front knee is above the ankle. So when the knee is further than the ankle, it might potentially bring a bit of pressure in the front of the knee. So rather a little bit forward, and then start to soften into your groin. Relax the buttocks. And take a couple of nice, slow breaths in and out. It is over time that our connective tissue and our fascia starts to stretch. Remember that you can always back out. You can always come to a child's pose. Broaden through the collarbones. And keep the back of your upper body also broad. So rather than squeezing your shoulder blades together, sometimes bringing an image into mind, which represents that kind of energy, that broadening through the chest, a bodyguard, a bodybuilder, a gorilla. Like if you think of that and then kind of translate that into your own position, you might feel that you are more upright, more open. Soften the skin on your face. And allow those deep, slow breaths to unwind you. And inhale through the nose. A slow exhale through the mouth. And the exhale can even be longer than the inhale. That also has a slowing down effect on your central nervous system. If at any stage this gets too much, you can just come out a little. Just bring the foot a little closer and bring the hips a little higher. Otherwise, stay still. And this is where, with time, we start to stretch into the deeper connective tissue. Try to soften the shoulders and let the breath be there for you. Quite a strong one to start off with. And notice when you meet some kind of edge. Often I have a tendency to fiddle. I start to scratch my nails onto the block or start to wiggle my toes. And that's the first sign of, oh, it's starting to become challenging. And then I try to stay still and just really focus on the breath. Closing the eyes is a lovely way to go inwards, or staring at something can also help. But our eyes take in a lot of information. It goes to the brain analyzes it, make sure that we're safe. So one of the reasons sometimes to want to keep the eyes open if you feel unsafe, because that's what Our eyes also have the function of to look around to make sure that we are okay. We are safe here. So if you feel okay with it, you can close your eyes. It does make sometimes the sensation stronger. Ooh, I'm starting to feel it now. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And I find it interesting in my own body, and I can only share from my own experience, is that when the edge comes and I stay still, even though I want to move, and I breathe, and then the next thing that happens is heat. I start to warm up. I start to almost sweat a little gently. Breathe. All right, slowly lift your hips. Bring your hands to the floor and just bring your knees next to each other and come lie onto your tummy. So you can move your blocks to the side and just lie all the way down for swings pose. So for swings pose, you can use your bolster. I like the bolster under my chest. It just supports the chest. You can also use a pillow, a double pillow. You can even put a block, but the block might be a bit hard. Another thing you can add on here is to add a block or even two. You wouldn't want to try to keep the neck in line with the spine. That's it. Yeah, meditation pillow can also work. You can slide it under your chest so you can feel that your chest is resting onto the pillow. That's it. Emma, you've got a visitor. Hello. Oh, cute. Hey, Hannah also has a visitor, I think. Can't see now. Yeah, cute. And it's yeah, amazing, sweet. Okay, close your eyes. Now, scan your body from the furthest point, your big toes. Almost say, hello, big toes, relax. And then your other toes, you can do a little wiggle because a little movement is a connection, the body-mind connection, muscle. And then just go, okay, I can relax my toes now. Relax the soles of the feet. Feel the right sole of the foot. Notice the left sole. The heels. What do you feel in the heels? Are they warm? Are they cold? The front of the feet. The side that is in touch with your mat. So you're scanning your body. The ankles. Tell them to relax. Do they feel warm, cold, spacious, tight? The calf muscles. The shins, are they touching the floor or not? Your knees, the behind of the knees, the kneecaps in the front of the knees in touch with touching the floor. Your hamstrings, your thighs, your pubic bone, which is probably because of the back bend, softly pressing into the floor. Your bum and the muscles or your glutes, let them relax. And again, sometimes squeezing your bum together for a split second and then relaxing again is just a reminder of like, okay, that's engaged and that's relaxed. Breathe towards the lower belly, which also expands on the side and which also expands in the lower back area. If you have a bolster under your chest, feel the pressure of the bolster into the ribs of the rib cage, the lower ribs. And this is where we start to move towards our chest. the upper body. You can really pause a moment, focus on the breath and how the inhale creates space between the ribs. And the exhale, again, just creates a sense of softness and surrender. Breathe towards your armpits. Notice the armpits, the shoulders, the upper arms, and how your elbows and lower arms are in contact with the floor. What are your hands doing? Are they facing down? Are they facing up? Are they facing towards each other? Are they holding on to the block? Are your fingertips relaxed? And then pay attention, bring your mind's eye to your neck, your shoulder blades, your shoulders itself, up towards the back of the ears, your skull, your ears itself, your hair, the skin of your skull, and then your face. Relax the lips, the tongue inside your mouth. Notice the eyes, the eyeballs. Allow them to relax, specifically if your eyes are closed. It's also an opportunity for your eyes to just relax. They also have muscles and nerve endings in the back of the eyes, and they work a lot for us. Specifically with those screens that we use, which is not the most natural light. So let them relax for a moment. Take 3 more rounds of breath. And then slowly lift your head. You can move your props to the sides. And come to a gentle child's pose as a rebound. So just walk yourself backwards. Stretch the arms in front. Let your head rest to the floor. Take a couple of breaths here. Around 4 to 8 breaths, nice and slow, depending on the length and the depth of your breath. And come onto your hands and your knees, and we do the hip stretch on the other side. So you can, if you want some padding for your right knee, fold your mat double. Step your left foot forward. Your blocks can come in. Take a moment here to just feel where you want your blocks to be. Check the alignment. You still have your eyes open, so the knee can be above the ankle. And then you can close your eyes and start to connect with the hips. So feel the right knee in touch with the floor, the left heel, the left foot, build up or connect with the body, feel the stretch in the hips. And then specifically notice your neck and your shoulders. So if there's a tendency maybe to have the shoulders up towards the ears, find some space and some length. Even moving your head a little from right to left allows you to feel if it feels restricted or quite open. Maybe the blocks need to move, and then you can commit to stillness and breath. Let the time allow for physical space and calmness in the mind and calmness for your central nervous system. A sense of grounding really close to the floor. Breathe consciously. Soften the jaw. Notice when you're clenching your teeth. One of the things I've been from, let's say, Hindu philosophy, been thinking about lately is the three kind of forces that exist according to that method or philosophy. It's the creation, the energy of creation, the energy of destruction, and the energy of stagnation. And according to that philosophy or method, those three exist constantly in life and are the three forces in life. And you can obviously apply that into the bigger picture. War is destructive. And after, or even fire on the mountain can be destructive. That's onto our planet or onto our mountains here in Cape Town. And then after, there is creation, there is new life. And sometimes we feel that life, or even your personal life or your work life or the bigger energy, collective energy, is more stagnant. It's kind of the same. Of course, there will be micro challenges. And it's interesting to observe. Sometimes I find for myself to go, okay, do I feel that my life currently is in a more of a stagnant phase, a destructive phase, or a creative phase? And I personally feel, with having moved to Scarborough and, you know, the last 2 years being quite challenging with COVID around, that it feels like I am personally, and it might feel very different to you because it's not the same for everyone. It feels like I'm coming more into a creative space where the dust has settled. While before moving to Scarborough and before all these challenges, collective challenges, my life felt kind of stagnant. Not in stagnant doesn't have to be negative, but things were kind of, you know, business as usual. There was a routine, not too many surprises. I knew what I was going to do. And it's quite interesting to observe that within yourself, within your career, within your personal life, even within your relationship or relationships. Sometimes you can, even as a couple, go through a space where you feel it's all stagnant. And stagnant really doesn't have to be negative. It's just harmonious. It's okay. It's the same, and it's good. And then sometimes there's mini phase where you're like, oh, either individually we're a bit triggered, so this could be destructive, where we have to be careful to not destroy things that we can't fix. And then there's phases where everything is very creative and new, and it feels new. New projects, a new house. And even destructive doesn't have to come from within the couple or within the relationship. It can also be from the outside, when there is challenges like sickness, or, you know, it can feel destructive to your life or your couple. Doesn't mean you have to break up or anything, but it's an interesting thing to observe. Just wanted to share that. Take one more deep breath in and a deep breath out. Whenever I read stuff like that, I just find those words of wisdom quite nice to share. Okay, let's slowly come out. Woo. And then okay, so this is a little bit more challenging for people, or not challenging. It's the easiest if you have a bolster. Then you can just put it in this way, because you're going to be in a side bend. We're going to first open the right side of the body. If you don't have that, you could, I mean, this one I can't really fold double. You could go for that. The challenge with your block is that it might hurt, because you're going to put it on the side of your waist. So you can also roll up a towel or a jacket or anything that you can make around. And then it's your left side that will be closest to the floor. Yeah, that's a good idea. For example, a block with a nice, blankets or towels. You can use the block as well and put something soft over it. And then you might need something for your head. Just see. Stack your feet perfectly, or, you know, your big toes are next to each other, ankles are next to each other. Slide it under your waist, and then you're going to lie onto your side. You can use your left arm as a pillow. If you feel that your head is in some way uncomfortable and you want to put something under your head, you can, like a little pillow under the head, or you can just stretch your left. I find, for me personally, if I stretch my arms straight up, parallel to the long edge of the mat, I can just let my head rest. Now we're opening the side. If this does, it's also energetically, but if you don't feel it enough, obviously the bigger the thing underneath your waist, the more stretch you feel. So the right side is being open, which is the ascending column, and the left side is being compressed a little bit, also by the pressure of the block. And then close your eyes. Let your right arm rest somewhere where it feels good. It can also come overhead, so then your palms can even touch. If that feels relaxed, then you're stretching into the right armpit. So you're like a banana on the side, a bit of a moon, gentle C shape. Now you can relax your toes and breathe towards the right side of the body. Let your head and your neck be relaxed. Now, in yoga, or in the anatomy of yoga, or energetical, subtle anatomy, the right side of your body, and it's more, I'd say, linked to your digestive system, but it's also energetic. So from the right side, it's ascending. So let's say from your right hip to your right shoulder to your right ear to the crown of the head, in that line from the right side of the body, it's up, it's an upward. So it's a stimulation. So that's why we stimulate the right leg first, and then it's descending on the left. Now also your intestines, the food moves in that direction. So on the right side of the body, the intestines kind of has this loopy where it moves up, and then it moves down. So even when you massage your tummy, for example, if you would use your right hand, it would be with the clockwise, around the tummy, clockwise, up and then back down. Maybe also just a nice thing to share. And that's why when we twist, we do certain poses. This is quite traditional way of looking at the body. In Ashtanga, you first twist the knees over to the left, then to the right. You first stimulate the right side, then the left. So breathing to the right armpit, we're stretching open, also your liver. Those organs on the right side have lots of space, and the one on the left side are a little squeezing, let's call it like that. Stay with your breath. Soften the jaw. The right lung nice and open, spacious. A sigh, is always welcome. Slowly place your right hand back in front of your face and bend your knees a little. Bring your knees up towards your front. And then sideways, press yourself up to a seated position. Maybe feel the difference on the right and the left side. And then we come into a forward fold. So you can place your feet onto the floor. If you have a belt, that might come in handy. Another option, if you feel that your body is, if you straighten the legs and you feel like your body is kind of leaning backwards and it's difficult to tilt the hips, sitting on something might work for you. So as soon as we sit on something higher, we've got more space for the hips. So this is also an option for some of us. Just feel into what works for you. And we're going to do a bit of a snail pose. So rather than lengthening the spine, you can put your pillow and just round your chest over. So even close, 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 and then just round over. And then relax your toes. If it feels uncomfortable for your head to hang, because your head is heavy, you can put a block on your legs and just let your head rest. Oh, what is better? I don't know yet. Don't know yet. So we actually, we don't need the belt. Sorry. That we need more when you are trying to lengthen the spine. So now, I don't know where you feel this because you have a different body from mine, but I feel it mostly the highest point, which is kind of here between my shoulder blades. My bolster is slipping, so I'm just gonna put it back one more time. Yeah, and then we're happy and we can stay still. Relax your toes. Breathe. And it's actually different. I'm trying to figure out what I prefer. It feels quite different if this is easier with your eyes closed to feel. But when my head is supported by the block, and I can ask myself, hey, where is the most intense stretch happening? And then I remove the block and I let the head hang. It changes. It changes, it shifts. So you can ask yourself, where do you feel the most resistance and what serves your body best? I don't know yet. Still making up my mind. Okay, let's try to be still. That was more towards myself. Otherwise, I just keep fiddling with that block. Now, where do you feel this most? Is it your calves, the hamstrings, your glutes and your bum, your hips, the lower back? It's a back line stretch. Maybe there's a specific color that arises that is linked to the sensation. Is it blue? Is it red? Is it orange, yellow, purple, pink? And soften your shoulders. Soften your neck. Soften the face. Specifically start with your mouth. So it's easiest to actually actively connect to the jaw, the tongue, the lips, than to say, okay, let me relax my nose or something. So when you start to relax your mouth, the rest will follow as a ripple effect. The jaw, the cheeks, the nose, the eyes. You've got a little bit more time here, so if you want to do anything different, I've just personally removed the block and I'm going to let my head hang. The weight of the skull, it's a lot of weight, pulls deeply into the muscles of the neck, between the shoulder blades. Breathe towards the shoulder blades, let them rise almost. So you breathe space to the back of the body. And slowly, you might want to put your fingertips onto the floor to help yourself sit back upright. Ooh. For me, this is a strong pose, but I know there's quite some tension there in that part of the body. We'll do our side stretch on the other side. So you can use the same block, prop, is the right word. Your right side is going to go on. The left side is going to be open. Maybe you need a block as a pillow. Be quite precise in your alignment to set up. So look at your feet, make your heels, your knees, your hips. Feel that your bolster is right underneath your waist. Take a moment there, toes are stacked. And then you can start to extend that right arm along the floor. Yeah. Nice. And stack. Option to have your left hand in front of you or overhead, and the palms touch. Now relax your toes. So your one long line. Breathe to the descending column of your body. So the right side, the ascending column, also from a digestive point of view, because we were already speaking about digestion. Now, when you speak about digestion in yoga and also Ayurveda, we're not just speaking digestion of food. We're just speaking about digestion of life, digestion of conversations you've had, digestions of music and the energy that comes with certain movies. We need to digest all that information, the energy that comes with it. So when it's very intense or maybe even aggressive, it's like aggressive and intense kind of energy. It's like a big meal from McDonald's, fried food for your digestive system. You can compare it like that. It's harder for your brain, your heart, your soul, your central nervous system to digest that information. Toxic or non-toxic information. And now, if you think about your digestive system when it comes down to food, your right side, the ascending column, is very much responsible for taking in all the good information from your food. And the left side is the detoxification process. So sometimes in your digestive system, the one side will be stronger or weaker than the other. And it obviously has a big impact on your health, because the food is our fuel. So if your body struggles to take in all the good minerals and vitamins and all the stuff that we have in our food, the ascending column, is there something there? Or the left side, the descending column, the body struggles to get rid of things that don't serve, the toxins in your foods. Breathe towards the left lung, towards the left waist. Soften the skin on your face. Remember that a sigh is actually very healthy for your central nervous system. It's a release. A sense of surrender and letting go. So when you feel the pressure build, it's okay. You can just have a little sigh and let it all out. Slowly place your left hand in front of your face, bend your knees up towards your prop. And then without too much muscular effort, just come sideways and remove your prop. Now, for the next one, let me just check the time. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. For the next one, you might want to use your belt, but please know it's cold. All the cat lovers. I think next time when people want to come to my yoga class, I first need to ask them if they like cats. Otherwise, they're gonna not like half of the class. So it's a joke. It's called the cat that catches its own tail. So if you have a belt and you want to use it, I'll show you now. Then you'll put it around the ankle of your left foot. You can do that already, but I know, for example, you won't need it. Some people might need it, some not. Now, you are going to come onto your back. It's a twist. Your right leg will come over towards the left if you want to place a bolster or something under it. It can be quite nice. Shimmy your shoulders so they're flat. And then I like to look at my left thigh. So it's actually parallel to the bolster, parallel to the long edges of the mat. Shimmy the shoulders, bend that left knee, and the right hand is going to find that foot. Now, if that foot seems very far, you now have your belt, and you can bring your hand to the belt. And then just decide whether you want to hold on to the pinky side of your foot. That means that your right shoulder is open, externally rotated. Or if you want to hold on, if it's easier for you to hold on to the big toe, and then you just have a little bit, make sure that the right shoulder stays open rather than curling all the way up and in. I prefer the pinky side, even though it's a harder grip. But again, one is not completely different. Like, it's different, but it's a choice. And then the last thing you can do is bring your left, actually no, I prefer the ball of the foot today because I'm wearing socks that's sliding. The left hand can rest on the outside of the right thigh, and then you could potentially move your nose to the right side. Lift your head, turn your face, and then you have extended your spinal twists all the way up to the spine into the neck. With your eyes closed, just you know, ask, sorry. You try, well, it's no forcing. So if you, yes, I have my shoulders flat, but I also have a bigger prop under my right knee. So, but yes, you're trying to have your upper body as flat to the floor as possible. And then you can turn the nose towards the right. So your shoulders flat on the floor will only be possible if your right knee is supported by a prop. If your right knee is, most people, I mean, some people might be able to and have the right shoulder blade and the right knee on the floor, but that means they are extremely flexible. Otherwise, yeah, just work with the prop underneath the leg. Breathe. So these twists are also good for your digestion. Twisting stimulates your organs. It's like taking a towel and, you know, turning it, and squeezing all the water out when it's wet, for example. You do that now. That's a twist of the towel. Now you're twisting your organs, your spine. If holding on to the foot creates any kind of tension or you feel that it's uncomfortable, let go of it. The twist so that the right leg being over towards the left is more important than you holding on to the right. Let me think. Right and left is confusing now. Holding on to the left foot. The left, holding on to the left foot probably makes you feel like, you know, there's a stretch in the thigh of that left leg. The left leg is the one closest to the mat, in touch with the mat. When you twist it, everything becomes a bit more confusing. All right, let's stay still and breathe. Nice, Sonia. That is so funny, Emma. Emma's got a cat sitting on top of her while she is doing the cat that stretches its own tail. I want to be a cat in my next lab. I think it's a pretty good lab. Soften your shoulders, your face. Some more rounds of breath here. Gently let go of the bottom leg of the left foot and wiggle those toes a little. And then come back to center. Release, come onto your back for a moment and just lie still. Feet hip width apart, knees bent. You can even place your right hand on your tummy and your left hand on your heart. Take a couple of breaths. So whenever you have had, for example, either a fight or an intense meeting and you just feel that you're wound up, central nervous system is a bit like, breathe like this. You can lie on your back, but you can also do it seated. and connect. The touch of the hands to the body is calming. The breathing towards the belly and just the fact that you are taking a conscious breath allows for that triggering kind of feeling of, you'll see, this for like 2 minutes. Breathe like this and you'll be a different person. Your breath is amazing. All right, we just have the cat that catches its tail on the other side. So move the bolster if you're using one to the right side of your body. Extend the right leg along the floor. Scoop your hips a little so your left knee can rest on your prop. The belt might have to move. If you know that you want to use the belt, you might want to move the belt around your right ankle. Take your time. And you might be surprised that it feels very different on this side. Settle in for a moment. So pressing the back of the head, once you're into your shape, pressing the back of the skull into the floor allows you to lift your shoulder blades. It's almost like you can lift the upper part of your upper body away from the floor, and then you can reshuffle your shoulders as level as possible. Then you lift your head and you turn the nose towards the left if you want to add the twist towards the neck area. And I find it fascinating how different the one side feels to the other. The closer you pull, right heel, the one that is on the floor, to your sit bone, and the more you pull, let's say, the leg parallel to the mat or away from the bolster, away from the prop, the more stretch you will feel in the right thigh. Quadricep. Breathe. Oh, I love yin. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful that I teach it at least once a week, because every time I practice with you guys, I mean, you just notice like, oh, your whole being is like, thank you. Can we do that more often? And it's like I started a practice, you know, it's one of, and I admit for me as well, it's one of those practices that if I wasn't a teacher, I would probably very quickly skip it and go like, okay, no, I don't have time for that. And then when you do it, I do meditate very regularly, which is also very much in the same space of same energy. But then when you do it, you're like, oh, I wish I had time for this every day, because it just feels so good. Good energetically, not necessarily muscularly, like not necessarily your body. Some of these shapes are very challenging. And stillness itself can also be challenging. So while I go to Botswana, I will send you some links, people online, so you can continue. So in that consistency, your consistency with your practice, it's just beautiful. And here in the center, we will just have yin classes. Willow will be there for you, and then I will be back in June. But now we are here right now, so connect with the breath. Each breath is here in this moment. Can't really breathe into the past or the future. So as long as you pay attention to the breath, you are bringing yourself more and more into the present moment. Couple more rounds of breath here. We come out with our head first, so turn the nose to face the ceiling up, and then release your right leg. And slowly make sure you're warm enough. I mean, we have been still, so it's not a massive difference, but start to move yourself into a Shavasana. Bolsters under the knees can be nice, a blanket on top of you. Just totally relax. Socks. Our yoga is online. You're at home, so you have time to just stay with this very beautiful energy. So if you want to lie in your pentacle, as we call them in Yin, the Shavasana, as we call it in Shavasana, longer, do so, or even use the time to meditate, journal, and ideally as little phone or screen time after this practice, because this is, you've digested the day. Try to have as little input from now on. It really, really makes a difference for your sleep, for your rest, for your recovery. Or if you want to already start to also move with us here at the center, you can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, moving away from that very passive, still state to a little bit of movement. And keep your eyes closed for now, really just keeping your attention with yourself. So the less external distraction or information that will come in to your life or into your space in the rest of the next couple of hours before you go to sleep, the better you will sleep. Or read a book rather than, watching a movie. Or it's a different energy, and it will help your body to rest and stay in this kind of beautiful soft energy. You can make your movements a little bigger. Make your own routine, a yawn, stretch. Maybe bend your knees, hug them in, sway them gently from left to right, whatever works for you. A full body stretch. This is something really, really nice. And at some stage, you will roll onto a side. You can pick and just stay there for a moment or two. And then gently, in your own time, come back up into a seated position. And let's place one hand on our heart and our tummy, just that feeling, that connection, that touch. And may that also be a reminder that your breath is always there for you. So any time of the day, even if you've driven and you've been in traffic, that's also triggering. It's quite intense. You can even do this on the toilet. You don't have to, you can do it anywhere, anytime. There you're alone. So if you don't want to sit like this where other people are around, it's also a great place. Feel your own body and your own breath, and it will regulate you, bring you back to yourself, center you, ground you. The hands can come to heart, reminding yourself of your intention or your dedication. Thank you for taking care of your physical and mental well-being, for practicing tools for you to be able to deal with life, the ups, the downs, the challenges, the joys, the celebrations, all of it. These tools help a lot, not just here, this hour that we practice, they help us a lot off our mat as well. And thank you for being students, because it also allows me to practice Yin with you. And it's very good for me as well. Have a lovely evening. Namaste. Take your time. There's no rush whatsoever. I'm just going to say goodbye. It's nice and dark here.